And welcome into another edition of the Orestes Destrade show with the big O, Orestes Destrade. Pirates, Yankees, Marlins,
Lions.
Cebu Lions.
Look at you saying the
Cebu
name so
Lions.
well.
Yes.
You're going to be saying that name a little more because of my boy Imai who's coming out.
Oh,
Player, so.
we're teasing again. We're teasing the show.
We'll leave that for next week when we talk all things Japan. But
how are you, partner?
I'm doing great. Tranquil and tropical as always. Having a great week.
I'm getting hammered on Monster.
You love the Monster. You are a monster, JP Peterson. Great show you just finished having. I love your picks. I love how you dissect your thought
You like how I picked the Cox at 19 and a half?
You picked the Cox at 19 and a half. You definitely always take the Cox at 19 and a half. But the bottom line
Love South Carolina. Love them.
Hey, Palminary.
Lenore Sellers. Yeah.
Palminary now just head coach of the South Carolina Gamecocks baseball team after his storied career at LSU. So come back.
One of your many friends here in the baseball world.
We'll talk some college baseball with him soon.
All right, so let's talk. We're going to get into AL MVP. We got Rays stuff to hit on. The Rays' new CEO, Ken Babby, was out at Ferg's.
Love hearing that.
You were talking to Ferg earlier today.
Yes.
You're going to get him on the show?
We're going to get him on the show.
Cool.
And
Mark Ferguson?
Yeah, exactly. Those who don't know who Ferg is, that's the original Mark Ferguson who's been there for, since the beginning, since 98 with Ferg Sports Bar, one of the greatest sports bar in all of these great United States of America. I don't say that loosely.
One of the best baseball bars.
Well, just
without question.
Sports in general, but definitely a baseball bar because it's right next to the Trop. And a great story that he just told me a few minutes ago about how Ken Babby kind of feels like one of the reasons that they bought the team, wanted to get in the mix and bring his group to buy the team, is that he had a great experience at Ferg's a couple of years ago after a walk-off win for the Rays. And him and his wife popped into Ferg's and says, "This is a great place." And the wife said, Ken Babby's wife said, "This is a team you should buy. Forget about all these other teams you're looking at." And you know what? It proved to fruition.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that?
So Mark Ferguson had a lot to do with this new ownership.
Because she liked the aura of just all the fans there.
Like the fans, the music that they play, just the
kind of music.
ambiance of tying this great game of baseball to a sports bar, a la places that we've mentioned before, but namely, the Chicago Cubs. When you think about the Cubs and you think about the Boston Red Sox, you think about these cool,
the Caskin flag,
the
Cubby Bear, the great bars across the street from
that's the one thing about baseball that ties into that. I think you get that up in the northern cities as far as the ties in with hockey and stuff like that, because they're known for their pubs too. But a great day that they had on Wednesday. Ken Babby showed up with the mayor, Ken Welsh, the head guy from the St. Pete Chamber of Commerce was there, and a slew of fans. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, and if I read right, he bought a beer for everybody.
He did,
yeah, and not just one beer for everybody, but actual separate beers.
Yeah,
no, just kidding.
Beer for every. I'm not sure how they. I'm sure some guys got two. I'm pretty sure some guys got two.
But the bottom line is that he's already.
And we know this. That's Ken Babby 1, Stu 0 in terms of buying drinks at Ferg's for the.
I believe that might be the score.
I think it's
a low scoring game, but so far, and I think Ken Babby's going to continue to add to his scoring, because I think he's going to make that a regular spot. So, listen, the fact that he's already ingratiating himself, that ownership group, I think, and the other story to that we'll add in the coming weeks, and as we get into the end of the year and into the beginning of the year, and the excitement of what I call kind of renewing your vows, if you will, almost.
I like that.
Yeah,
I think
that. Coming back to the Trop, it's going to be renewing of vows. And after a year hiatus because of the hurricane and needing to play at Steinbrenner, I think this is going to be a love affair again. And they're going to be there for a few years. They're definitely going to be there for 3, and maybe hopefully
4 if they have to.
4 if they have to. But so welcoming back. I'm going to applaud what the city of St. Pete is doing.
Yes, big time.
As far as getting they're ahead of schedule. They should be done by February. Everybody was worried that Man, would they have to go on the road early? Would they have to change the schedule?
Oh, we had a good summer. Hurricane season, no real big storms to screw up the.
Forget about hurricanes. There weren't any big storms.
Yeah, to screw up the roof, which is fantastic. That was a bit of a dicey situation. Had one come through while they were putting it on. That would have been. Whew, can't even imagine. So we dodged the bullet there.
100%.
We're already getting good karma.
Yeah,
with the new group.
Great karma that's a great way to put it, and that's already happening. So. There's a lot of excitement towards that.
There's a lot. There's really a lot going on.
Yeah,
that we should probably hit on. The Rays pop-up store, which is right across the street. They have a viewing center there that you can go in and buy tickets. Since you can't get into Trop, it kind of shows you exactly what your seats are going to look like. You get a little experience with the new salespeople.
Right.
They're refurbishing the suites.
Yes.
Which desperately need them.
They did. Yeah, they were outdated, to say the least.
To say the least.
Yeah.
So that's they're going to put up a lot of different things. They're doing new scoreboards, new sideboards near the foul poles. There's going to be a lot of new stuff that's going to go up, and they really, they can't really announce things until they get back in there and see what they could do with the right field tiki bar and all this other stuff. So
over there.
Yeah. Well, but I know this, they're going to make it a great experience. They cut ticket prices, 2/3 of the ticket prices by at least 15%. The Rays Club,
they got $10
game tape tickets that went on sale this week. Single game tickets. So really fan friendly, fan marketed.
Well, that was what I was just going to say. I mean, the comment by Ken Babby from not this weekend, it was on Wednesday night, was that stood out to me. He goes, listen, we want to do right off the bat two things: create a winning experience, continue to feed, the bear that is, the player, ops, operations, and create a better fan experience. So that's all these things we're talking about here. That's getting out in the community. That's ingratiating yourself with not just the community, but with the other businesses, including Fergs, including other, the banks of Tampa and you name it. There's so many companies and businesses that will be like, hey, we're over here, come talk to us.
And so many that have been out for so long.
Correct.
There's, and this goes back to even Namoli. They're
100%.
There were, that's the main reason that he had to be removed is because he had poisoned the water in the business community.
And I love Vince and all, and he meant well in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
He really did, because I got to know Vince a lot. He brought me in from the beginning, but he was a stickler about certain other things, and it just didn't translate to how a owner of a major organization in a big city needs to be.
He was very socially awkward.
Yeah, he was, and he alienated a lot of people.
Yeah, so that started bad with the business community in Tampa.
He did mean well. I will say that.
He absolutely did. He was just kind of a bull in the china
rest
shop.
In peace, but he was a bull in the china shop a lot of times.
Yeah,
yes, he was. God bless him.
Yeah, I sat down and did a one-on-one with him one time when it was at Channel 8, and they're trying to kind of rehabilitate his image.
Right.
And he was very nice, very, very nice. Seriously. And very sincere, and wanted to be. He was so emotional about things that he would get charged up if people didn't buy tickets.
He didn't understand the dilemma of, that you have to kind of like ingratiate yourself, and then it'll come back to you.
Right.
So
all that, and then the last regime probably not great at PR either. So there's so many businesses and fans that want to come back to the Rays.
Correct.
And I think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see
100%
an outpouring of that. That's good.
The feel good right now is at a high level, and I think it should continue. Then you get into the nitty gritty of like, what's the move going to be? We just had the Fairbanks move, which really, if you break it down, makes a lot of sense because you didn't want to get caught with your pants down with an $11 million deal when a lot of the baseball pundits, including myself, felt like, listen, he was not going to be an easy trade. Not a lot of teams are going to be paying, taking on an $11 million deal for a guy that's a, possibly not even a closer for you. You didn't know where he was going to fit. So there are a lot of teams interested in Fairbanks, deservedly so.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as them holding on to that and getting stuck into the spring, let's say, now where are you as far as trying to make a deal with that? Now you're kind of you're hemmed up. So don't look at some of the things that they're doing right now completely, status quo.
Right.
I think there's a lot of other things going on the horizon. I think December, believe it or not, is going to be a very big month for the Rays, and some things are going to be.
Why you say that?
Because I think at the winter meetings, there's going to be some dealings. There's going to be some trades.
Are those in Orlando?
They're in Florida. I want to. They might be in Miami this
check
year.
that. Yeah.
Check that out. I think it might be Miami. But there's going to be some wheeling and dealing, and I think the Rays are going to be smack in the middle of that. There's a lot of teams that are going to be looking to trade some high-profile guys. Supposedly, maybe Martell with the Arizona Diamondbacks might be on the market.
Wow.
So, yeah, and that's that's a serious player, but it's not for sure. But they probably would. Their ears are open. If you want to stay on the Rays for a minute before we get into AL and NL.
Yeah.
There's an interesting, because this is awards week, right? So a lot of the awards were put out there. Kudos to our former Ray Stephen Vogt, who won back-to-back, a la our own Kevin Cash when he won back-to-back Managers of the Year. Congratulations to him and the Guardians for a job well done. I really didn't think that they were going to end up winning that division, and they outdid the Tigers, who should have won that division but collapsed in the end of the season. Then you've got awards for Murphy. Pat Murphy did another great job, back-to-back for him too. You've had the Rookie of the Years. We touched on that a little bit earlier this week, and Kurtz and Baldwin. An interesting one was the Cy Youngs. No surprise, no controversy. The right guys won. The best pitcher in all of baseball, Tarek Skubal, deservedly won. And Skeens on the other side deservedly won. But there's kind of a tie, I think, Tarek Skubal to our very own David Price from back in the day, because they're both hit a Cy Young in their fifth year, right? So he's won back-to-back. But if you remember back in the day, in 12 and 13, we had a young guy by the name of David Price, who was just one of the studs of baseball at the time. And he ended up getting traded in the middle of his sixth season because the Rays did not want to, lose him to free agency and get nothing.
Right.
There's rumors now that the best pitcher in baseball, that the Tigers may be looking to trade Tarek Skubal.
That's a shame.
Which is shameful. And people inside of baseball are feeling like it probably won't happen, but there will be teams calling Detroit and going, hey, what you got? You know what I mean? Because I think it'd be more likely similar to what happened to our guy David Price when the Rays didn't trade him that offseason after his fifth year and opted just to ride through the next year. But once the team was scuffling a little bit, they traded him. And ironically, they traded him to Detroit Tigers. So it's kind of weird.
Right.
But I think, Skubal will probably, be there. If by chance the Tigers are not in the mix in the AL Central, you could see, a crazy July trade deadline for an arm who I think is the premier arm in all baseball. I know there's three other great pitchers out there. Garrett Crochet is fantastic. He's really come along and on the precipice of winning his own Cy Young one of these years. No doubt a beast. Skeens, a beast. Yamamoto, a beast. But they're number 2, 3, and 4 to the number one guy, Tarek Skubal. So I think it's just interesting, the dynamics of how back in the year, 12 and 13, leading into 14, similar to what the Tigers are thinking about or possibly contemplating to what the Rays did and unloading him. And remember, that was during that era of time where, dare I say, we lost Price, Shields, Ben Zobrist, Carlos Pena, Carl Crawford, you know what I mean?
Gutted.
BJ Upton.
Gutted.
I forget one other guy, Joe Madden.
Yeah.
All kind of lost to free agency, if you will.
Yeah.
Because of not paying and keeping at least a couple of those guys. And what happens that we were just talking about the feel good of the game and the stuff. A young 11, 12-year-old kid in Detroit, Michigan right now does not, a year, this winter or next year, his number 29, Skubal shirt. Now all of a sudden you got to tell this kid, he got traded because the team, couldn't pay those things. I still
Things
think back
can't
in
happen.
the day, having been in the middle of all of that and Rays Live, and having to like report on these trades and these, not signing
and make them sound like they're baseball trades.
Their baseball deals. It was so hard for me, man, because I know how passionate I was, and I didn't even have a hometown team growing up in Miami. We grew up in South Florida. The best we had was the Atlanta Braves.
Right.
And we were Braves fans just from
we were
afar.
Dolphin fans. That's all we had.
We had the Dolphins. That's
Right.
it. But as far as baseball, I was like a Baltimore Orioles fan because they had spring training in Miami. So I followed the Orioles. And then from afar, I was a Yankee fan. I was a Reds fan because of Tony Perez and me being a Cuban born first baseman. But these kids, man, lost, all those jerseys that were going by the wayside when they traded all these guys. I'd like to see some continuity coming up the ranks with some of the young studs that we got coming up. Obviously,
Caminero. Got some MVP votes.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Carson Williams could be a guy that kids are wearing his shirt 3 or 4 years from now. And obviously, Shane McClanahan, Shane Ball, those guys, if they continue to progress and be good, I think there'll be enough money as they get into free agency and greater arbitration, big boy money, that the team will be able to keep them if it makes sense. So that's an important thing.
All right, I wanted to. I got a couple questions here for you from our great listeners that can comment. You could do that, by the way, on YouTube. You could do that on Facebook at JP Peterson. You could do that at the JP Peterson Show on Twitter as well. So, we got a couple of questions here from Michael LaRue. Where is this one that he asked specifically about the retro uniforms? Lonnie Wilkins says, when you were around the club, Big O, did the players prefer the Devil Rays uniform /look? I'd love a modern retro branding. Did the players like those uniforms?
Yeah, they seem to be cool with them. I mean, it's a little bit of a, they just kind of have a nice little change. You're seeing that around in all sports now. You know what I mean? Obviously, the NBA is doing it with the NBA Cup thing, and also when they do, the Latin thing where they're wearing, different, type of jerseys commemorating Hispanic awareness or whatever. So I think most players, I know when I was, we had a couple of different styles. We wear the cutoff ones for the Marlins.
Yeah, I like that look.
And it was a cool look, especially if you had a little bit of guns, it was kind of
which you did.
Yeah, so it was kind of nice. But it's not a huge thing for players. We're creatures of habit, so it's just a matter of like if the club, you put your uniform up there. What's more important is, when you get there, how you get there, when, what are we doing next? What's the schedule like? The baseball players, because of the every day.
So they don't care much about the different uniforms and stuff. The fans go bonkers.
I think the fans go all crazy
about it.
The
players really don't.
I don't think that specifically. I think the bigger things that the players care about that I've seen in the last 10 or 15 years has been Mother's Day and Father's Day, where they can do the pink bats.
Okay.
And the certain commemorative things. I know NFL and I think baseball, bought into that too with, they give them a day where they could do their own shoes.
There are bat designs. That's cool. They like that.
Those things, I think the players get into that.
Okay.
So that's an individualistic thing. The uniforms, I don't think it's that huge of a deal.
Michael LaRue asks, with arbitration estimates included, the Rays' current roster projects to have a payroll of around $95.5 million.
Yeah.
How much higher are the new owners willing to go? Well, they haven't committed to anything yet.
Correct.
They haven't committed to a number. They've just talked in generalizations, like the economics have not changed, but the economics of how they spend the money is up to them.
Correct.
They're still going to bring in well over $300 million.
Yeah, that's just year in year out, pretty much.
If I were them, I would, because it's kind of it's there for the taking. It's like, we've never been over 100.
Right.
You're that close.
Right.
Let's go.
Oh no, they're going to
go to 115, 120.
I can pretty much sit here and tell you and guarantee you that they're going to be over 100.
Yeah.
Just the sheer fact of where they're at right now. There could be some trades and things like that. So, the ledger will go plus or minus. But I think they're going to add, that's what I'm saying. December and into January, there's going to be some moves that are going to raise their average. So I see them comfortably in the 110s, or in somewhere in that range.
Well,
and if they're able to do that, that's a lot of flexibility for a genius that is in Eric Neander.
Neander, yeah.
So I'd like to see 115, something thereabouts.
Lottie Wilkins says it's great to see a local bar that actually has local teams up. I hope the Rays really push out some local bar programs to be
great point
watch sites. Yeah, we've said this for so long.
Yeah,
I can't tell you. They've been here, 28 years now, 27 years, 28 years. And you still go into sports bars.
Yeah.
And you say, hey, can you put the Rays game on?
Correct.
That's insane.
Yeah. You have to kind of like force that in.
Yeah.
That will hopefully be a change very soon.
Yeah.
As soon as this coming season.
As far as the new owners, they doing a lot to the specific Tropicana Field and really pouring into St. Pete for that time. But for those who are looking for a stadium update, what we're hearing is all the work that they're doing, most of their work. And I know Ken said they're still looking at a bunch of different sites. From what I'm hearing, the HCC site is the one that's been really, really focused on. And if they're going to get it done by 2029, that almost has to be the site now because of the work they've already put in on it.
Yeah.
If that's not going to be the site, they got to pick another site. I think it's going to go longer. And I know that's a priority for him. So that's just me saying this. I'm not ready to report this as fact yet, but I've talked to people involved with HCC and they all seem to think that's what's happening.
Right.
People that are on the board there, people in management and leadership positions, that's what they all think. So, but nothing is official yet. And we'll see where it goes from there.
It's interesting because and I forget his name now, but the head of the St. Pete Chamber of Commerce was at that event on Wednesday. And if I'm not mistaken, he brought in a bunch of shirts that say, keep the Rays in St. Pete that he was wearing. So,
of course, and
listen,
that's, you can't fault them for that.
100%,
the local people,
you cannot fault them for that. The local people are still believe in it. And they're probably, listen, I'll say it again. And we already touched that in the beginning of the show. I think the love affair with the Rays and St. Pete is going to be like a marriage that is just renewed their vows, and there's going to be a lot of excitement. But it's going to also now bring over, hopefully, the Tampa people be like, hey, we're in too because they're coming our way.
Right,
so
right.
It's going to be like a really true. And in the end, and this is a very important point, I feel, it's Tampa Bay's team.
It'll bring us all together.
It's Tampa Bay's team. They're the Tampa Bay Rays. And if you could bring them all together and involve even Pasco more and obviously Clearwater and all that area down that way, Tarpon Springs and getting out to the east. And listen, that's what's going to make this great. And it's going to make it a lot more fun when they do win. I
agree. Totally. All right, let's get into some of the little bit the nuances of this AL MVP voting.
Yeah.
I just, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago.
It was damn close, and it needed to be close.
I just don't see how you can't vote for Cal Raleigh. And listen, Judge's season was ridiculous. It was incredible.
It was historic.
But so was Cal Raleigh's.
So was Cal Raleigh's at another different level.
Yeah.
For Aaron Judge, let me just build him up, which he doesn't need to be built up. He's 6'7", 6'8", 280 pounds of an incredible one of the best athletes in the world of sports, period. So is Shohei Ohtani, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Just incredibly chiseled, incredibly talented, fast, hand-eye coordination. He's an exceptional outfielder. Did something that nobody had ever done before, which is the most home runs while leading, winning a batting title. I think there's only been a couple other guys that have even hit over 50 home runs when they won a batting title. But he hit the most, 53, hit 331, raised all of his levels of everyday greatness. Okay, hear what I'm saying? Everyday greatness as a hitter. The catch is that it's the catch.
It's the catch.
It's the catch. What Cal Raleigh did, you cannot rule out. In fact, I'm gonna see if I can find real quick the statement that basically. Hold on a second. It was from his manager, and basically what Aaron Boone was saying. Like he says, he's running out of descriptions of how great he is, and when you watch him day to day, and all the things that he does, has just made him this great player. Here's the catch: it's that he is the best hitter in the game of baseball, bar none, including Shohei Ohtani, including Juan Soto, obviously including Cal Raleigh. But the game of baseball is not just offensive. In fact, they have an award for that. Yeah. And for the third year in a row, both Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge won the Hank Aaron Award for the greatest offensive player in each league. That's what that was. In fact, I'll go one further and say that if you really break down where he plays most of his games, 81 of his games, right, it's Yankee Stadium. The least dominating position in Yankee Stadium, because of the nature of how short the porch is right field. So it's like the least complicated of their positions. I would say it's center field, and obviously always catching for any team. I don't care what stadium and how the configuration is. It's always the most, dramatic defensive position for every team is catching, and then depends how your outfield is set up, right?
Right.
So if the challenge for the Red Sox, you better have a really talented left fielder that knows how to play that wall. The challenge for Yankee Stadium, you better have a center fielder that can go get it, because it's cavernous.
Yeah, it's big.
Left center and right center. So you also got to kind of, you can't fault him, because he probably, he's played center field in Yankee Stadium, right? But this year he was a right fielder. In fact, for quite a while, he was also a DH. So the defense kind of gets taken out of the equation. You can't take that out of the equation for Cal Raleigh.
Right.
He caught 121 games. He set the record for most home runs by a catcher by a bunch. He set the record for most home runs by a switch hitter. Oh, by the way, there's only been a handful of catchers to score over 100 runs in a season. He scored 110 runs. So the production value, plus being the quarterback of baseball, that everybody agrees is the case. Oh, by the way, not only is he the quarterback, but he's damn good. This guy led the league in fewest pass balls. He has a great pop, with his arm. So he's an exceptional Gold Glove winning catcher. He's not just, some catcher that could just hit.
Slug, right?
No. This guy is a legit defensive catcher. Probably for him, when you asked, it's interesting, because one of the questions I was asked to Shohei Ohtani was, what's more difficult for you, pitching or hitting? And he actually said the right one, which is because of Tommy John and having to come back and rehabilitation and everything, this year he had to really concentrate more on the pitching and getting back on the mound. If you ask Cal Raleigh, what's more important, he has two options: hitter or driving that pitching rotation and staff and blocking balls and being the leader and being the quarterback that, affects everything.
The entire see, and this is my point. Like we give Shohei the nod because he pitches as well as hits, although he only pitched 47 innings this year.
Correct.
So
dominating 47
innings. But let me ask you this. If he pitched 47 innings, who had a bigger impact defensively?
Oh, wow.
Cal Raleigh?
That's a great point.
Who caught 121 games?
Right. But, I mean, exceptionally too.
Or Aaron Judge, who played in the field, obviously,
right.
and has a great arm and all that. But he's not he's going to be involved in maybe Stadium. 5%, 10% of the defensive plays in the game.
Right.
Whereas Cal Raleigh's involved in every play.
Right.
Calling pitches.
Shohei's not pitching every inning.
Right. So defensively, I'm looking at the WAR rankings, and Aaron Judge WAR ranking this year is 10.1.
Right.
And Cal Raleigh's is 9.1.
Correct.
I don't know exactly what the formula is for WAR,
it's a weird
but it does obviously take into consideration defensive prowess.
Yeah.
But and it's supposedly the best metric to average how impactful players.
Above.
But you cannot convince me that a guy that's involved in every single pitch in 121 games, and then in 154 games, I think he played total. 60, all those things that how in the world is that not more valuable?
125 RBIs, by the way, also.
Yeah, and leading your team to the playoffs.
Right.
And I know this is a regular season award.
It's a regular season award, but you got to the playoffs.
Yeah, you got to the playoffs. And it's no question that he was the driving force of that 100%. Team all the time. I mean, when we played him, it was just like he just dominated.
Yeah.
And I just don't see how. And I know Judge was.
I see how, though. I'm going to tell you how it was overlooked. And I think obviously you do have, Seattle and New York. So there's the East Coast bias, which is predominant in all sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, possibly in all things that we do in walk of life, there's an East Coast bias,
right?
But especially in sports. But I think it goes beyond that. I think the reason that Aaron Judge won is because he needs to be and can be and is great enough to be the face of baseball. And you want the face of baseball to be from one of those type of teams. You want it to be from the Yankees. Who was the face of baseball for the 20 years before Aaron Judge? Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
Tell me who else that MLB wasn't promoting, defending, helping.
Yeah,
gave them the Miami Marlins basically on a platter.
Yeah,
it was the face of baseball needs to be represented by a guy that. Oh, by the way, the last two faces of baseball have been bicultural players.
Yeah,
incredibly well spoken. Incredibly well loved by enemies and their own.
True.
You know what I mean? Because Jeter was respected.
It's always the evil empire, but we always love Jeter. We always love Judge.
Everybody loved Jeter.
Yeah.
You
hate the Yankees, but you love Jeter.
You love Jeter.
Yeah.
And that's kind of happening
not
with
A-Rod,
Judge.
Jeter.
No, really. Not A-Rod, not Clemens, not Chef, not Giambi. There just wasn't. I mean,
the captain.
It was the captain, and now you have this other captain, and with him being able to have the chance, because you really can't say he doesn't deserve the MVP.
Oh no, I'm not saying that.
Nobody would say that.
No,
but it was such a close race that I think that also plays into the narrative of like now you have the face of baseball, and a lot of people probably sitting there now listening or whatever and thinking, wait, what about Shohei Ohtani?
Mm-hmm.
The face of baseball is not Shohei Ohtani. He is a immense. If anything, he's as far as the United States of America, it's still going to be an American speaking player.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No, it has to be.
It kind of has to be.
Yeah, and it's
funny that you asked me just last week. What about Yandy Diaz as being the clubhouse leader? It's difficult, man, because he doesn't speak English well enough.
Yeah.
And it's difficult. You can popularize Shohei, and he is the face of global baseball, but I don't think he's the face of the MLB in
I agree with that.
States.
By the way, for the voting, Judge finished with 355 points, 17 of 30 first place votes cast by members of the Baseball Writers Association of America. Raleigh received the remaining 13 first place votes and 335 points. The Guardians' Jose Ramirez finished third with 224. So
the way the numbers,
two guys flipped their votes.
Yes,
two guys flipped their votes, and it goes the other way.
It goes the other way. So
or it's co. Yeah, that would be co.
They have been co MVPs.
MVPs.
Correct.
So it was damn close.
It was damn close and deservedly damn close. And I'm glad it was damn close. I'm glad there wasn't like
who would you have voted for?
No, I if I had a vote, it would have been Cal Raleigh.
Me too.
As much as I am a huge Yankee fan, I am a huge Judge fan as a human being. I don't know Cal Raleigh. I've only seen him but I've gotten the chance to talk to Aaron. And what a wonderful human being. What
tremendous.
A great representative of the game. What a star human, person. And then a stud of a player. But
how much of it do you think
it was for this season? It was Cal.
How much do you think it is that most of these writers have been around Aaron Judge and know him and talk 100%. To him and they don't know. Cal's
Hard to
kind
know
of
Cal.
new on the scene.
100%.
And when you talk to him, I mean, I've seen interviews. I've not interviewed him, but he seems like the nicest guy in the world. Cal Raleigh.
Sweetheart guy, well-spoken too, gives good interviews.
But these guys just don't know him.
They just don't know.
Yeah.
And for a long, long time, Seattle Mariners was, including the greatness that they've had, Ichiro, Randy Johnson,
Jr.,
one of the greatest players of all time in junior, Ken Griffey Jr. It's still Siberia in the world of
it is.
It is
in baseball.
in baseball, it's
especially
Siberia.
from the hub.
Yeah. And so as for you make a great point. That kind of leans into the East Coast bias.
Yeah, it has to.
It leans into the East Coast bias, but then you add that other tranche, which is the MLB face. Now everywhere you look is 3-time MVP, Aaron Judge. The one thing that's missing from a 3-time MVP,
World Series.
World Series.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing that he owns up to it. And that
he's doing his part.
Yes and no. I'm going to say yes and no because
postseason.
Because this postseason was the first one that he really showed up. He had, if I'm not mistaken, he hit 500 in the games that he hit. A lot of singles, not as many home runs, but he was on base all the time, right? And they just didn't have the pieces to wake up. They had the pieces around him. They didn't wake up and do stuff because you didn't see, some of these other talented players like Bellinger and whatever do what they needed to do. And then the pitching, struggled. But the bottom line is that he doesn't have a World Series championship. On the flip side, in the National League, you have a guy that you have to go back to Joe Morgan to win back-to-back back-to-back MVPs and also back-to-back World Series. And that was Joe Morgan, 75 and 76. That is like the ultimate victory, right? When you win a championship and you're MVP, then you win another championship and you're MVP again.
That's dominance.
That's dominance. That's dominance. And that's Shohei Ohtani. This is his 4th MVP, 3rd in a row.
For those who don't remember Joe Morgan.
Wow. I love Joe Morgan. I got to know him. He's right back there, man.
Well, he's right back there, but you want to show them what Joe Morgan used to do? Some of these kids never seen this before. Joe Morgan. Let's do our first demo here.
Joe Morgan did the little.
No, you can stand up. Hold on. There we go.
Yeah, no, we're all right. I can do it from here.
Okay.
I can do it from here. The reason that Joe Morgan did that elbow flap is because he wanted to keep his elbows down. Remember, everybody in Little League, Johnny, keep your elbows up. Keep your elbows up. No, Johnny, don't keep your elbows up. Relax your elbows and
talk about little Johnny Peterson.
Yeah, little Johnny Peterson, J.P. Peterson down in Hollywood, Florida.
Rotary Park.
Rotary Park. I've been there. And keep your elbows down to the ground. Point your elbows to the ground, and you're going to have a much better bat path and be able to have better swing. So Joe Morgan, and again, I was a fan indirectly of the Reds because of one player, really, and that was Tony Perez. Because I was a Cuban-born kid in the 70s that, was like, oh, my God, this guy's Cuban, RBI guy. This is what I want to be. And fortunately, I never reached the level of Tony's Hall of Fame level, but I considered myself a run producer and kind of modeled myself of like anytime there was a man on second and third, Tony Perez, I think he had a run of like 9 or 10 years of 90-plus RBIs.
Yeah.
So that was my guy. And I kind of modeled myself after Tony Perez. So indirectly, I followed this great team called the Cincinnati Reds.
The big red machine.
And the power they won back-to-back, titles.
All right, let's play baseball stance. Let me show you little Johnny Peterson. And you tell me who I modeled mine after. There we go.
Let's see.
All right.
Let's see what we got. I'm gonna get out of the way because
folks can see this. So.
Yeah.
I was like this. I'm like this.
Pete Rose.
Bingo.
One Pete Rose. So you
didn't take long.
You were a legit Reds fan growing up.
Oh my God! Slide head first.
Yeah, and
nobody was doing that back then.
Was it mainly because of Pete Rose?
Oh God, yeah.
Okay. So because then when I started dissecting that team because of Tony Perez, I'm like, oh shit. their second baseman is this guy's really good.
Yeah.
Their shortstop is smooth as hell, and David
David
Concepcion.
Concepcion.
Their third baseman, for a while was Rose, then he went to the outfield.
And Ray Knight
came
in.
One of the greatest catchers of all time, and Johnny Bench. Talk about a guy that
the greatest.
The greatest catcher of all time,
without question.
There's a few guys out there who might say Yogi Berra.
He won more World Series, but Johnny
was the stud, right?
Johnny held the career home run for catchers for a long time.
Yes, he did.
And plus he could. There was always the story of he could from his knees, throw to and hit the outfield wall.
That's crazy. and I've got big hands, but his hands
huge, right?
I can hold like 4 baseballs. He can hold 5 baseballs in his hand at one time.
And he wasn't a big guy.
No, he was
six
barely
foot,
6 foot.
6'1", yeah.
So that was a team. Then they brought over Tom Seaver. They had Spark Anderson. So there was
Don Gullett, Jack Birmingham,
Jack Birmingham, Ken Griffey
Senior. Yeah,
So
and the great Cesar Geronimo in center field.
So it was a team that was fun to watch, and they won a lot. So Shohei is in elite company, winning back-to-back titles, first 2 years with the Dodgers, back-to-back MVPs, unanimous. I think this is the 3rd time that he's been a unanimous MVP vote getter. By the way, and a guy that I got the locker next to and watched develop as the greatest player that I've ever seen, ever. Arguably the greatest hitter that I've ever seen, and all around 5-tool player, Barry Bonds, won 7 of them. But he's matched Barry as the only players in the MLB history to have won 4 or more. So now he's in like that, rare air, Jordan-esque type stuff. And this guy is he's not slowing down. And, but I really enjoyed him talking about how this season he had to really work on his pitching more because coming back from Tommy John and all the rehabilitation that it took in the offseason and even early in the season, because remember, he didn't start pitching until, middle of the season, took a lot of concentration and a lot of dedication. So the guy's a true athlete. And so is Aaron Judge. So that voting was, obviously 30 first place votes, 23 second place votes for Kyle Schwarber, and I think like 7 second place votes for.
Where did Caminero finish?
Caminero got some votes, I think.
Yeah, he was in the top 10, I think.
3rd or 4th, maybe.
Let me look that up.
But Juan Soto got a handful of votes for second place. But the bottom line is that, you've got the 2 top players in the world in the game winning their MVPs. It's just that, holy cow, or should I say, holy cow.
Holy cow, nicely done.
That was a season by a catcher. And the reality is that catchers just aren't, for being the quarterbacks of baseball, they're treated like the centers in football.
Right.
Does that make a proper analogy? They're the quarterbacks. They're not the centers. People kind of combine them and say like, oh, you're a catcher. You're like a center. You're like, Jason Kelsey. No, sir. Centers are very important in the game of football.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong. They got to not only know what's going on and hike the ball and all that stuff and block some monster nose guards, but it's the quarterback who really is, gaming it all and calling it all. That's what the catcher is. And for many, many, many years, catchers have just not been regarded. You know how much I was so happy to see that Drake Baldwin, as a catcher, won the Rookie of the Year. It's just, you don't see it. It doesn't, you have to go back to guys, Sal Perez obviously has had an incredible career.
Yeah.
The last few years, he's DHing half the time, if not more. But just an incredible career and was wonderful as a catcher hitter. And then you'd go back to Pudge Rodriguez. That's the other guy that you would think offensively, defensively, a super stud. Because to be honest with you, Yadier Molina, I don't put him in that level of offensive, like we're talking these Hall of Fame catchers and Johnny Bench, Sal Perez, Pudge Rodriguez, Cal Raleigh. These guys are truly way more offensive than Yadier was.
Yeah, I'm looking at all the
Yadier was a beast defensively.
Oh my God, yeah. I'm looking at all the awards for all of baseball, and Junior Caminero did make second team all MLB.
Right.
It's pretty cool. I mean, that's
deserving.
I mean, and he obviously a race player's never won MVP.
No.
We've had Cy Young Award winners.
We've had Cy Young Award winners.
But we never had an MVP. And of all the players that have been here, I mean, Pena hitting 46 home runs that year was I'm not sure where he finished in the MVP voting, but I think Zobrist had a couple of years that were pretty freaking amazing.
He might have finished somewhere in there in the top 10.
Yeah.
I think Benzo had a couple of years.
Yeah, but Caminero will have the best chance to be an MVP. Now he's going to play. He's going to play in the era of Aaron Judge for another 4 or 5 years, when Judge is still in his prime. But
and I think there had to be some times when Evan, when he was in the 30s, that he had to be in the mix because he was so Gold Glove defensively.
Yeah,
that again, you're looking at both sides of a baseball player at that point in time. Junior at 22 years old is getting better and better. He got better from last year to this year defensively, and a lot of people feel like that's going to be an upside for him, that he's going to end up being a Gold Glove type third baseman. So when you start combining those two scenarios, now you're a real MVP candidate year in and year out.
At 2013 was his highest MVP finish. Actually, was the same as 2010,
maybe
2010, sixth. Very good.
I remember.
So that was in 2013.
Again, deservedly so.
39 doubles, 32 home runs, 88 RBIs. And then in 2010, 22 home runs, 104 RBIs, 46 doubles.
Yeah, that's a lot of doubles. Bro.
Yeah, it's a lot of doubles, a lot of extra base hits. OPS of 879. So finished sixth. So I think Caminero has a chance.
Oh, yeah.
He'll have a chance.
I mean, right now, in the next 3, 4, 5 years, he's the guy. He's the guy to have that type of MVP type season. I can't see anybody else in the Rays that now we've got some guys that can win a Cy Young. Definitely.
Yeah.
So, we should be in the running for that. But all in all, it was a fun awards week. They had a lot of fun with it. Mookie Betts hosted with Ron Woods Jr. The event last night in Vegas, and he did a great job. That guy is such a talent. He's just so good in everything he does.
Yeah.
Talk about a versatile player.
Yeah.
Played right field, second base, shortstop, back to right field, back to shortstop.
Awards host.
By the way, did you know that this guy bowled a 300 game in his life?
I did. Right. Yeah, that's right.
Bowled a 300 game. He's like almost a scratch golfer. Yeah,
that's being too good at too many things.
He's the Ryan Seacrest.
He's a unicorn. He's a unicorn. Absolutely,
he's doing it all.
All right, let's say a quick shout out to Texas Roadhouse Wesley Chapel. Our good friend Tyler over there, managing partner, big Georgia fan, loving his Bulldogs, being in the college football mix, big Rays fan.
Yes,
and a great place to go watch baseball if you want to watch that, or not now, but football,
hockey with our Bolts that are trying to turn the corner, and just all things familial is definitely at the Texas Roadhouse, as I call it, TRWC of Wesley Chapel. Just a fun ambiance. Comfort food at a comfortable price. I can't say enough about the job that they do over there.
That's your spot. I love that. I got to get up there and enjoy a steak. Let's go watch a game up there.
Yeah.
Great game when USF plays Georgia in the college football playoff.
Wow.
We'll wear our USF stuff and we'll have a little go.
What does USF have to do to get into college?
They went out, so they got to beat Navy.
No, tell me the real truth.
No, so they're a double-digit favorite against Navy this week.
Right.
I think they should win that game. That's tomorrow at noon, Saturday at noon, and then you got UAB on the road where they should smash. And you got Rice at home to finish. They should smash them. So if they win those 3 games, they will likely host the American Conference Championship game at Ray J.
Who do you think is going to be their
probably
challenge?
North Texas, a team they beat 63-38 at North Texas.
Okay.
So it's never going to get, I don't want to say easier, but it's never going to be a better path than they have right now. Even if they move up to the Big Ten or the ACC,
Sure.
they'll never have a path.
They'll never have a path to get
to the never. So
we could actually
don't blow it.
We could actually see our Bulls in a college playoff.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's very likely, actually.
That would be super
it's like,
cool.
I shouldn't say it's tough. Be a lot of pressure being new to this whole thing.
Look at Miami, shit in the bed.
It's hard. Even with these teams that are you should beat, you're going to get their best shot. Yeah. So that'll be really good. So go watch the games at Texas Roadhouse, Wesley Chapel. Great place. And Kingmakers, where we are right now, this beautiful club right here in Midtown, where you can work and play. We have private offices, shared office space here, a conference room, a production room like this. It could also be part of your membership. So go to kingmakerstampa.com and the Murphy Auto Group, Genesis of Tampa.
Sir.
We love them. Mike Murphy, one of the new limited partners of the Rays.
Yes.
Baseball tie. And great dude, great family-owned business. They give back to the community. And by the way, they have incredible cars at incredible prices. So go over to Genesis of Tampa, check them out. You've been over there a bunch of times.
A bunch of times. It's a great new location. The service is phenomenal. The product is even greater than phenomenal, whatever that word would be. It's just incredible for the price. Again, one of those type of things where you're getting a high-quality thing at a level of price that doesn't, compare to, their comps as far as what you're getting as far as that product of a Genesis car. I'll say another thing, too. Always involved in the community, always involved in some great things. In fact, he's partnered with Grey Bull Rescue. I'm proudly wearing their hat in so many different ventures, trying to help people not only in Florida but worldwide. Jamaica with their devastation from the hurricane.
Are they still collecting?
I believe they still are collecting hurricane donations.
Yeah, you bring
some stuff out there.
You bring it over to Genesis of Tampa. They'll find a way to get it to Jamaica.
Yeah.
With Grey Bull Rescue, they're still doing those rescue flights down there. Those folks still.
It's going to be ongoing.
Great sponsors. We thank them very, very much. I'm going to get a couple more comments in here.
Sure, by all means.
To Thomas Casper, talking about your good friend Lou Piniella, said Lou Piniella failed as the Rays because of the owner being cheap. I would agree with that. Lonnie Wilkins says, love the Big O show, and JP, really love off-season baseball discussion from guys in the trenches. So, yeah, tell if you're a baseball fan, you got baseball friends, send them over the link to the show. We got to get it rolling. We got 613 people watching now on one little platform.
And this week was mostly about awards week, but next week, in fact, next Tuesday, they're going to have a really special guest, a gentleman by the name of William Brooks. And William is been in and out of Japan for 25 years and involved in a lot of sports marketing over there with the teams, with MPB, which is Nippon Pro Baseball, and obviously the hype of 3 top Japanese players being in the World Series this year and showing up, incredible, obviously in Shohei, obviously Yamamoto, but even the rookie, as I call him, Sasaki. And then there's 3 huge guys coming this offseason and posting. One is my homie from the Seibu Lions. That last year I was there all season with them last year in Tokyo with the Seibu Lions, and I got to really know Tetsuya Imai and what a young talent he is. 27-year-old righty. He's going to be really surprising, I think, and hopefully not super costly, though. I think probably will cost.
Who's the leader to get him?
There's several teams that are interested in him. Most of the frontline teams, are looking for him. Even the Yankees are looking at him. Philadelphia. There's several teams that are interested in Tetsuya Imai. He's represented by none other than Scott Boras. So that is another reason that it
won't be coming to Tampa.
Yeah, so I say that's another reason that's taking him out of the running.
New ownership.
Yeah, I wish. Dude, that would be to have Tetsuya over here would be glorious. But I think we're pretty much starting pitching heavy in order to dedicate that much money. I don't see it.
That's not
where they did. I would have to say,
if we're going to spend it, let's spend it on offense.
Listen, catcher, power hitter, outfielder. a veteran starter. Those would be the three things that I think would be on the list of the Christmas list of Eric Neander. A quality catcher, maybe the kid from the Houston Astros that we talked about last week, or JT Realmuto if you really want to step up and get a veteran. I would love that.
Yeah. Cost you about 2 years, $30 million.
Roughly. Yeah. But I think it's viable and hopefully doable. Go out and get a power outfield bat and get yourself a Charlie Morton type starter, because you invariably have injuries.
Yeah.
A lot of these young bloods for some reason are going down every year, right? So you need one of those like veteran arms that can give you upwards of 180, 200 innings, 30 starts that you can count on. He doesn't have to be Cy Young, but he needs to be consistent and then get into the playoffs with somebody like that. So to offset, some of still the younger guys that are under 4 years. You need a guy that's got 4+ years as a starter. That would be my wish list of those three. But as far as talking about, we thank you that you're watching the show. Next week, we're going to be talking about specifically for those of you that want to understand the posting system, because it's a bit complicated and there's a lot of different nuances to it, how it works, why they changed it many years ago. Many years ago, it was straight up whatever that when they posted a player, whatever that player signed for, the team knew that they had to double that and pay. So you sign a player for $51 million, for example, like the Boston Red Sox did, it actually cost them $102 million because they'd have to pay the same amount to the team. MLB got smart and said enough of that. So now there's different tiers, different levels, different percentages that a team makes per posting a guy. But also just the knowledge that William and myself, but mostly William has about the MPB and what they're thinking and this year's batch, but also the future of MPB and also the WBC is around the corner. So William's going to be a fantastic guest. Don't miss it on Thursday. He'll be here
I'm looking
live.
forward to that.
And then Walt Weiss, I talked to Weezer, the brand new manager of the Atlanta Braves. I know there's a lot of Atlanta Braves fans in the area here. Will be coming on with us hopefully on Friday or the following week. But the Weezer, former teammate of mine, and I've been talking, and he's excited to come on. And so throughout the winter, just so you know, we're going to be having more guests and more things talking about. Since there's not games, I want to have people come on and tell their stories and tell their thoughts about the past, the present, and the future of Major League Baseball.
The baseball winter meetings 2025 are coming up.
And there are
will take place in Orlando, December 7th through the 9th.
I don't know why I thought it was Miami this year.
You want to go?
Yeah, I will pop in. Orlando has hosted it quite a few times.
You want to do a show over there?
We could do a show from over there.
You'll be just grabbing people right and left. You know everybody.
A bunch of people, man. We'll just do a show from there.
Let's just post up in the Swan or the Dolphin, wherever they were. I did that a few years ago. Yeah. We had a bunch of good interviews.
We'll just get some people and
might grab Eric Neander.
Grab some.
Might be a Ken Babby sighting.
Maybe it's in Orlando. Maybe I can reach out to Ken Griffey Jr. to swing by in between in between golf swings.
Who? Yeah,
this guy, he was pretty good lefty hitter.
Yeah. I think I remember him.
Yeah. Might have played for the Reds too.
Yeah.
We'll get a bunch of guys.
Not ringing a bell.
Yeah, it should, because he would ring your bell.
Man, that'd be a nice little get there, bro.
Good. Oh, another guy that's good.
Like if he's walking around the winter meetings, like is he just mobbed? I mean, like is he treated like royalty?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. It's like, I wouldn't say Jordan walking around, but it's it's
a notch below.
It's Dwayne Wade walking around an NBA thing, and
that's a big
and everybody goes,
yeah,
it's Dwayne Wade.
Is he Shaq level? I think he's Shaq level.
Oh yeah, he's Shaq level.
Shaq level.
Yeah.
Jordan's another stratosphere for everybody.
And Junior's such like smart, intellectually sound baseball guy.
Yeah.
So he really, really like knows the game. He'd be a wonderful manager, because I think he has the even as a Hall of Famer, where you have Hall of Famers that aren't good managers. I just don't think he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he enjoys his free time. He's made plenty of money.
Yeah.
Still making, other business monies and stuff. But I always looked at Junior in the time that I've been around him as such like an astute like guy that has studied the game. It's not just hitting, and he was great. Like he sees different things, and I always appreciate those guys. Barry Larkin's another one that I think Barry's deserves, and I think he for a while he really wanted to manage. I think it was the Nationals that he was like, he was with them, and there was a chance. I know that he interviewed for, I want to say, the Marlins job, and maybe even the Rays back in the day when when Madden left. I think he'd be another one that'd be a phenomenal manager. He wants
to be an owner.
I think he wants to be an owner.
He wants to be an owner.
Yeah.
All right, partner. Appreciate you. That was a fun show.
Yeah. Congrats to Aaron Judge, Shohei. Congrats to Cal Raleigh. There's no doubt that he should hang his head very high.
No shame in finishing a close second.
He just has to hit 74 home runs next year. That's all he has to do.
Catch 160 games. Step it up.
Step it up.
Step it up, bro. Work a little harder.
Holy cow.
See you when you pitch. All right. Thank you to Texas Roadhouse, Wesley Chapel, Kingmakers, Tampa.com, the Murphy Auto Group, Genesis of Tampa. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys watching and chiming in. We will see you on Tuesday for the next Big O show. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Tranquilo y tropical.